Hello everyone. Today let us start with a new chapter, Introduction to Euclid's Geometry. Who is Euclid? You know, Euclid is known as father of geometry. He first started to think in geometry. What is geometry? Geometry has got two words, geo and metron. Geo means earth and metron measurement. Whenever you want to actual measurement of the earth, then they started the practical geometry. So practically they started finding out the length, finding out the breadth, and that is how they started to think about a line, a surface, a solid figure, etc. So what this Euclid did, he did all this logical reasoning, he thought, and he has written in one book, and that book he called as Elements, and mainly some 23 definitions he gave in these elements, and some of them are given in your book. For example, a point does not have any dimension, neither it has length nor breadth. A line is a breadthless length. That means there is a line, there is only length, there is no breadth. A plane has got length and breadth. You understand? So a point does not have, just a point, does not have length, does not have breadth. All that he has given as elements. So what is the meaning of these elements? I can say Euclid introduced the method of geometry by thinking all these. Whenever actual measuring, you have to go to the end point. So what is a point? For the point, there is no dimension. For a straight line, there is two endpoints. All that he thought, and he has written in one book. What is that called? Elements. Not only that, he introduced the terms axioms and postulates. What are axioms? Axioms are general words, I can say, which is applicable for mathematics as well as science. Whereas postulates are specially for geometry. Some of the axioms they have given, some of the postulates they have given. You have to understand the meaning of the axioms and postulates. Some axioms, they are all universally accepted without any proof. But theorems are proved by using this axiom, postulates and these definitions. So who is known as father of geometry? Euclid. So let us study about some more points of axioms and postulates. Now, what is axioms? First axiom they can say, things which are equal to the same thing are equal to one another. If I say A is equal to C and B is equal to C, then I can say A is equal to B. That is the first axiom. What can I say? The first axiom says like this. Things which are equal to the same thing are equal to one another. A is also equal to C, B is also equal to C. So things which are equal to the same thing are equal to one another. Second, if equals are added to equals, the wholes are equal. I say 2 plus 5 is equal to 7. Am I right? 2 plus 5 is equal to 7. I write down 2 plus 5 is equal to 8 minus 1. Suppose I add 3 to both the sides. What will happen? 2 plus 5, 7 plus 3, 10. 8 minus 1, 7 plus 3, 10. So, when equals are added to the equals, the wholes are equal. If equals are subtracted from equals, the remainders are equal. Suppose I say 6 plus 2, how much change? Is equal to 10 minus 2. If I subtract 1 from both the sides. Minus 1, here also minus 1. Then what happens? 6 plus 8, 8. 8 minus 1, 7. 10 minus 2, 8. 8 minus 1, 7. So if equals are added to equals, the sums are equal. If equals are subtracted from equals, the remainders are equal. Which is the next one? Things which coincide with one another are equal to one another. Things which coincide with each other are equal to one another. Suppose I say, if I say A, B and C, D are the lines, they coincide with the same length, then they are also equal to one another. Then the whole is greater than the part. That is definitely. If your mother prepares a cake and she gives you the full cake, definitely you'll get a greater part. Whenever she divides into 4 parts, you'll get a small piece. Therefore, that definitely you can say that the whole is greater than the part. Sixth one, things which are double of the same things are equal to one another. Suppose I say A is equal to B. 6 plus 2 is equal to 7 plus 1. Right? So 6 plus 2 8. 7 plus 1 8. I double it. Then 16 is equal to 16. Things which are equal to one another, if I double, the doubles are also equal. And last one, can you guess? Things which are halves of the same things are also equal to one another. When I double, they are equal. When the halves are also they are equal. They are axioms. Axioms are the general statements which are applicable for maths and science. Without any proof, we can understand that. Now, what are postulates? Postulates are specially meant for geometry. So, what is the first postulate? The first postulate is a straight line may be drawn from any point, any one point to any other point. See, one point is here. I can draw the straight line to any other point. Or I can draw the line like this. Any point to any other. Whenever I see this is a straight line. It is not curved line. Right? So, in order to draw a line, at least 2 points are required. Right? Second one. A terminated line can be produced indefinitely. This is a terminated line. It has stopped. I can proceed on either side. That's what they say. A terminated line can be produced indefinitely. Third one. A circle can be drawn with any center and any radius. You can draw a circle of radius 2 cm. You can draw a circle of radius 3 cm. You can take any center and you can draw the circle. Am I right? Yes. Fourth one. All right angles are equal to one another. All right angles means what? They are 90 degree. If I draw like this also, if I draw like this also, it will be 90 degree only. Right? So all right angles are equal to one another. Next one is last one. Fifth one is little complicated. You have to understand clearly. What is that little complicated? Before I start the fifth postulate, let me revise one thing of 8th standard. In 8th standard, we drew parallel lines and we drew a transversal. These are called corresponding angles. These are called alternate angles. These are called interior angles. And we studied some of the interior angles is 180. It is possible only when the lines are parallel. But what this Euclid say? If I don't draw the parallel lines, I draw the line like this and a transversal. And if I add these interior angles, if this is less than 180, then when I proceed this line indefinitely, at one point it will meet each other. Where? In which direction it is less than 180? If it is more than 180, they do not meet. They go apart. I said, last year we studied, when the two lines are parallel, the sum of the interior angles is 180. Based on this, he has given the fifth postulate, which is very, very important. If I draw two lines, if they are not parallel, then these two angles they are not equal to 180. In one side, it is more than 180. In another side, less than 180. Suppose I continue the lines in which direction, where it is less than 180, that direction whenever I produce, they meet at a point. Whereas, if it is more than 180 and I extend those lines, they never meet. They go apart. That is what they have said. That is what he has said. If a straight line falling on two straight lines makes the interior angles on the same side, it taken together less than two right angles. Did you understand? Less than two right angles means less than 180. Then those two straight lines, if produced indefinitely, meet on that side on which the sum of the angles is less than two right angles. Understand? Last year we studied when the two lines are parallel, the sum of the interior angles is 180. Now, the fifth postulate of Euclid is, if I draw two lines which are not parallel and transversal, the sum of the angles, if it is 180, interior angles is less than 180. In that direction, if I produce the lines, at one point they meet, but in which direction it is more than 180, if you extend those lines, they never meet. So, this is Euclid's fifth postulate. Now, based on this, he has given two equivalent postulates. What are those? For every line L and for every point P not lying on L, there is a unique line M passing through P and parallel to L. Suppose I say there is one line and there is one point P. I can draw only one line which is parallel to this. That's what he has said. If there is one single line and any point P, I can draw only one parallel line to this line. I cannot draw many. That's what he says. Second one, two distinct intersecting lines cannot be parallel to the same line. Suppose if they are intersecting lines, they cannot be parallel. Right? So, all the attempts to prove Euclid's fifth postulate, they made. And now you know, whenever the lines are parallel only, the sum of the interior angles is 180. If at all they are not parallel, in one side it may be more than 180, it may be another side, it may be less than 180. If I produce the lines indefinitely where it is less than 180, at one point it will meet. That is what he is postulating. Based on that, he has given two more postulates, or I can say some equivalent postulates. So, there is a line, and if there is any point P other than which is not on L, then I draw only one line which is parallel to this. Another one, two lines which are intersecting cannot be parallel. Right? Yes. After that, they have given some of the problems. Let me work out those problems. If A, B, C are the points on a straight line, A, B, C are the points on a straight line, be somewhere on the line AC, right? Then they say, prove that AB plus BC is equal to AC. Just by looking at that only, you can say AB plus BC is equal to AC. Am I right? So, what is the axiom you can use? Things which coincide with one another are equal to one another. This one coincides with this. So, they are equal to one another. Next one. You know, the radii of a circle all are equal. Am I right? And you can draw any number of circles taking one radius or any center. Now another one, two distinct lines cannot have more than one point in common. Two distinct lines, two different lines. One is this line, think that one is this line. You cannot have more than one point in common. Suppose they intersect only at one point. Suppose they intersect at only one point. So, if they intersect at all the points, then they are called overlapping lines, isn't it? They are not intersecting lines. Next one. You go to exercise 2.1. Let us see. First one. Which of the following statements are true or false? Only one line can pass through a single point. Is it true? No. If there is a single point, I can draw any number of lines. Am I right? So, you can draw any number of lines through a single point. So, their statement is wrong. There are an infinite number of lines which passes through two distinct points. There are two distinct points. There are infinite number. No, only one line I can draw. Third one, a terminated line can be produced indefinitely. Yes, a terminated line can be produced indefinitely on either side. Right? That is true. If two circles are equal, then their radii are equal. And what are they called? Congruent circles, right? Now, suppose they have given the figure AB is equal to PQ. Line AB is equal to PQ and PQ is equal to XY. So, what can I say? AB is equal to PQ is equal to XY. They have given AB is equal to PQ, PQ is equal to XY. Then AB is equal to XY. Are they equal? Yes. If A is equal to B, but B is equal to C, then A is equal to C. Now, give a definition for each of the following terms. Are there other terms that need to be defined first? Parallel lines. What is the meaning of parallel lines? Two lines which never intersect with each other or at a constant distance. Am I right? Perpendicular lines, the lines where the angle between the lines is 90 degree. Line segment, part of a line is called line segment. Radius of a circle is the distance between the center and the circumference of the circle. Square, in a square all the sides are equal. So, I can say square is a polygon where all the sides are equal. Now, they have given. Consider two postulates given below. Given any two distinct points A and B, there exists a third point C which is in between A and B. They have given two points are there A and B and C is any point in between A and B. They have not said C is a point or A. It may be in between A and B, up or down, right? So, if at all on C, then I can say AC plus BC is equal to AB. Now, let us see what is their question. Do these postulate contains any undefined terms? Yes, they have not said where C has to be. Are these postulates consistent? Do they follow from Euclid's postulate? If they say we have a point C on a line in between A and B, then AC plus BC is equal to AB. Next. If a point lies between the two points A and B such that AC is equal to BC, then it's okay. So, if, what is that fourth one? If C lies between A and B such that AC is equal to BC, then prove that AC is equal to half AB. So, you know AB is equal to AC plus BC. I said AC is equal to BC, so I can write down AB as AC plus AC, because instead of BC I can write down AC. So AB is equal to 2AC, or AC is equal to 1 by 2 AB. That is what they asked you to prove. Now let us go to exercise 2.2. How would you rewrite Euclid's fifth postulate so that it would be easier to understand? The same thing. If the lines are not parallel to each other and a transversal is there, it cuts the two lines in such a way that if the interior angle is less than 180 and to that side if I produce the lines, they meet at a point where it is more than 180, some is more than 180, to that direction when we produce the line, they never meet each other. Instead, they divert from each other. Does Euclid's fifth postulate imply the existence of parallel lines? Definitely yes. When they are parallel, the lines are parallel, the sum of the interior angles is 180. Interior angles on the same side. I think I almost covered all the things in this introduction of Euclid's geometry. So, please complete this. Notes, you can refer the textbook itself. You write down what are elements, whatever I said. Elements are some of the logical reasoning or logical thinking. When he came to the actual measurement of earth, what is a point, what is a line, that he explained in a book called Elements, and some 23 definitions he has given, and that very few are given in your book. You write down. And after that, axioms and postulates. What is the difference between axiom and postulates? Axioms are general, may be applicable to mathematics and science, which are accepted without any proof. Whereas postulates also accepted without any proof, but they are specially meant for geometry. So, which postulate is very important? Fifth postulate. So, try to understand this lesson.